We know that the writing has been on the wall for decades concerning an inevitable war against Iran, with some claiming that Iran needs to be taken out as it poses an existential threat to the state of Israel and to the Western world at large, while others claim it is in fact the last remaining major bastion of strength standing against the totalitarian globalist regime. Whatever your political perspective on the matter, however, this video poses the question, could events right now unfolding in fact be the fulfillment of an ancient end times prophecy as recorded in the book of Daniel in the Bible? In Daniel chapter 8, there is recorded a prophetic dream in which Daniel is shown a series of events which are later interpreted for him by a messenger named Gabriel. In the vision, he saw a ram with 2 horns pushing westward, northward, and southward, doing according to its will and becoming very great. Then he sees a he-goat come from the west with a notable horn between its eyes and crossing the face of the whole earth and touching not the ground. The goat attacks the ram with fury and power and smites the ram, breaking its horns and casting it to the ground. The messenger tells Daniel that these 2 creatures represent respective nations. The ram with 2 horns represents the kings of Media and Persia, and the rough goat with the 1 horn represents the king of Grecia. These events occur at the time appointed as the end. This prophecy is considered to be very significant eschatologically, as the interpretation is clearly given with the prophecy. However, while it has always been obvious that Iran, once called Persia, would be a leading player in any unfolding events around the land of Palestine, Israel, as it has been for millennia, but what has not been clear is what the land dubbed Grecia in this prophecy could be referring to. Clearly, it cannot be the current nation of Greece, as this country does not play a significant enough role in international affairs and certainly would not have the military capability or motivation to attack Iran. We are, however, given several clues as to the modern identity of the nation symbolized in Daniel's dream as the rough goat. Firstly, it comes from the west. It has the military capability to traverse the globe in order to reach and attack Iran, the ram in the dream, and it does so by not touching the ground, which one would assume means through air travel. Also, in later verses, the messenger indicates that the single great horn between the eyes of the goat represents the first king of this nation, who, later in the dream, is ultimately broken, after which, this king's rule being ended, the nation divides into 4 separate independent kingdoms. So if we look at the list of modern Western nations which could even have a chance of defeating Iran, we know that there is really only one that qualifies: the United States. The USA has both the stated intention of taking down Iran and the military capability to traverse the globe with its armed forces to do so. And it appears right now that it is this very event that we are seeing unfold. But how can it be the nation of the prophecy, you ask, when it doesn't have a king? Well, if the United States does not in fact have its first self-appointed king sitting on the throne of political power as we speak, why then have there been nationwide no king protests all over the country this past week demanding that a state of democracy be restored? Donald Trump himself just issued an image from the White House in recent days depicting himself as a crowned king. So it begs the question, does this in fact make the United States fit the bill as the nation of the prophecy with its first king which takes down the ram of Iran? We must bear in mind that the USA did not exist as a nation. The continent was not even known during the time of Daniel, and so it would not have been recognized by its name. I heard one researcher postulating that perhaps the United States, as it appeared in a vision, might have been dubbed Grecia because of some of the prominent Greek-style architecture in such significant locations as the White House and the Statue of Liberty, standing in New York Harbour, amongst other places. It was this mention of the Statue of Liberty which caught my attention and interest. The Statue of Liberty, through ancient eyes, would have been recognised as a statue of the goddess. And though it is not commonly understood in Christian circles, one of the titular names of the goddess in ancient scripture is Grace. The Divine Mother has long been associated with the feminine qualities of mercy, forgiveness, unconditional love, and freedom or liberty of the soul. And a Latin variant feminine form of the name Grace is Grecia. So there is much more I could say about the significance of the imagery of the goddess being used to potentially signify the United States of America in modern or specifically end times, but I will leave that for another discussion and end this video with the thought, if the prophecy in Daniel 8 really is about to unfold, what then comes next?